I think you're just trying to get me pissed off right now. But you're doing a great job.
I think, can I swear on this podcast?
Oh my God.
Oh, this is awkward and embarrassing. So
my birthday is the same date every year. Turns
Surprise.
out. Yeah.
What the heck is the problem?
My name is Kristi Faltorusso.
I'm Greg Daines.
Ennis. Ooh, dang. My name is Turkovic.
Jeff Kushmerek.
Dave Epperly.
Mohammed. Alqaq.
Rachel Provan.
Hi, my name is Tino.
This is the Lifetime Value Podcast.
The destination
for customer success content.
This episode is sponsored by The Segment, a new kind of customer success newsletter bringing you the latest news, analysis, and references only true lifers will know. Subscribe today by navigating to www.lifetimevaluemedia.com or send us an email at subscribe@lifetimevaluemedia.com.
What's up, lifers, and welcome to Lifetime Value, your destination for customer success content, where we're on a mission to help you make sense of it all. The terms, the headlines, what ebook you should buy. I'm your host, the Susan Lucci of customer success. My name is Dillon Young. Folks, the pod is back. I'm thrilled to be here, toiling away to edit video versions of these shows that you, the average audience member, have never seen. That is a hint. Please take it. youtube.com/lifetimevalue. Seriously, though, guys, I am ecstatic to show you what we've got this season. We're switching things up for you, and hopefully it's for the better. For this season of LTV, we talked to only about a dozen guests, all about the same topics, and all with the aim of bringing you some varied perspectives on each one of these topics and giving you the opportunity to form your own opinion, one that's going to serve you in your unique position today, the way you're doing customer success today. You're going to hear from multiple guests per episode. All of them are going to appear on multiple episodes. They're going to share their takes on everything you might think a podcast would talk about with customer success. What's a day in the life look like? Who owns retention and expansion? Where do they believe the future is going to take customer success? Without further ado, guys, let's get into it. It only seems appropriate that we kick things off with a bit of a history lesson, guys. It seems like we all have heard before the common refrain that Salesforce is really who invented customer success, got the customer success train rolling. And while I am particularly lazy in my personal life, I don't want to sleep in a bed of lies, not in public, create an entire goddamn podcast based on an assumption that might be wrong, and it turns out it is. So down the rabbit hole I went. Turns out the rabbit hole is not that deep. So while the consensus is that Salesforce is the company that popularized the term around 2005, it was actually a company called the Vantiv Corporation that stood up the first customer success organization. Basically, they were the first company to put a title to the folks responsible for fighting churn. And interestingly, important to note, this was back in 1996, which means it predates the cloud technology. It predates what we understand to be software as a service, or SaaS, and the entire subscription model. This was all on-prem software. They were going to the site with servers and installing this software, which typically meant that they were taking all of their revenue up front, except for any maintenance fees, any upgrade fees, any support fees that they might have. And so in the case of the Vantiv Corporation, it was churn through failed implementations that was killing them. And it wasn't terribly impactful to the frontline revenue, like I said, but it was absolutely trashing their forecasted support and maintenance fees. And those were the big revenue boon for software companies. Those were the continued revenue channels for software companies back then. And so it's for those reasons, which seem terribly obvious to us now, that stirred them to action and to create that first customer success department. I asked this exact question over and over again to a lot of the folks on the pod this season. I said, where did customer success begin and what was its original purpose? But a lot of those folks described what it is that customer success does today, these very broad, overarching descriptions about partnership with product and sales and implementations and blah, blah, blah. But it's important for us to first begin with what it was originally intended to be. And it just happens, it is his luck that our good friend Jeff Kushmerek
CEO, Infinite Renewals,
had the most succinct example. So he is our first cutaway guest in this new season of Lifetime Value. Congratulations, Jeff.
I believe that the value that they're doing is making sure that the customer, when they signed up for your software, they wanted to achieve a set of outcomes, a set of goals, outcomes. And your job is to A, make sure that they're getting those outcomes met. B, you're letting them know that they got these outcomes, which is the value articulation, right? You do that, and then all the other activities, you should be getting the results that you would expect, right? And you're doing that proactively in not just, as I say, drunk dialing 30 days before the renewal and things like that.
Jeff lays it out pretty damn perfectly right there. Customer success was originally created to retain customers, and then the obvious follow-on is that retention thereby affords us more opportunities to generate revenue from the account. Back in the day, that was support and maintenance fees. Nowadays, it's a lot more about selling upgrades, additional complementary products, or just overall continued renewals. Nevertheless, it is a widely accepted conclusion that the longer the game goes on, the more shots on goal you're going to have the opportunity to take. And that is what Jeff is alluding to when he talks about accomplishing goals and everything else following after. Throughout my chat with Jeff and others, revenue comes up a ton. Understandably so. The topic is an important one. And so he and I go back and forth and we tease apart what exactly revenue's place is in the definition of customer success. Well, so it's interesting that you talk about the outcomes and value articulation. And earlier, your focus was more about revenue. And it sounds like that's what you mean when you say like, oh, that will come if you provide value articulation.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I mean, sorry if I didn't make that clear.
No.
Those are all tied in. Like when I get in front of a bunch of people and, or I interview people, as in they're a candidate to be, I ask them, why don't customers renew? Right. And people are like, oh, the price, the product sucked. Well, they usually demoed it and they knew what they were buying. So they knew the price that they signed up. So let's dig a little deeper there. Mm-hmm. And the issue is they just didn't know that they were getting the value, right? They said, I need these outcomes. They didn't know somebody saying like, hey, you're getting these outcomes. You're doing X. You're doing the things that you signed up for. Is there more that we could do now? Yes, we'd like to do X, Y, and Z. And then you keep adding to it, right? Those are the activities that sales didn't do back in the day or won't do in startups and things like that to make sure that you get a renewal. These are the activities that you do to make sure that you get renewal and expansion. Otherwise, what are you doing besides being support?
There it is, folks. Taking the gloves off early. I knew I could count on Jeff for that. One episode into this new season, and we've already got our first combative phrase. What more is customer success than support, if not for renewals and expansion? And interestingly, Jeff is making the distinction, I think, that customer success should be the one driving those commercial motions. And you're going to hear others who say that is the most effective design also. I might agree with that, but while we're here, let me just add a bit of nuance. What makes customer success unique is the focus on the commercial motion as the end goal. It is our focus on the outcomes for both customer and company, one of which allows us to strategically increase our revenue, and one is to benefit the other. It is the drive for NRR over 100. That hasn't changed since the Vantive days, but it is worth reiterating that customer success is here and it has a place because of the unique needs of software companies to continuously show their customers their value, which begets additional revenue opportunities. Okay, this is not an interactive show. I will assume you are all nodding in agreement. That is why customer success was started. Sidebar, if you are at all confused about what the relationship means in this dynamic we're talking about, the revenue and commercial dynamic, here's our good friend Rachel Provan.
Rachel Provan. I am the CEO of Provan Success, and I'm a customer success leadership coach.
To perhaps disabuse you.
I don't know that it's as relationship focused as we like to think it is sometimes, because people will leave if they don't have a good relationship, but they won't stay only for the relationship. It's the outcomes that they will stay or leave, that they will stay for. Yes, they'll leave if they don't like you, but I can't tell you how many times I've heard, we wish we could take you with us. We love you. but the product doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know? So if the product doesn't work, that's a little bit of an issue. Mostly you have to focus on whether they're getting the results. Them liking you. We like to be liked. Them liking you is not going to get it done. So we can't spend too much time on that as we can removing barriers and focusing relentlessly on the outcome.
Now, fast forward a bit, and somewhere along the way, and despite the word customer being right there in the goddamn title, more and more often, we began talking about customer success and how it interfaces with our internal peers, what it is we do for them, how we can serve our colleagues as much as we do our customers. And that is what Alex Turkovic.
Name is Alex Turkovic. I'm the director of adoption programs at Snow Software.
Who seems unsure of what he does at Snow Software. This is what Alex thinks of first when he's asked to describe customer success.
The CS org, to me anyway, the way I see it is like the hub, and there are several spokes around it that can benefit from that, right? Your sales and renewals function, if renewals doesn't live with CS, they benefit because you're tracking these outcomes and driving them. Marketing can benefit because you're driving, adoption, and you're driving advocacy. Your product team can benefit because, hey, guess what? You're a wealth of information, of product feedback, right? So it's this kind of hub and spoke type situation in my brain anyway, where a successful CS org is going to be firmly plugged into all of those cross-functional orgs. I hate saying cross-functional.
Now, this shouldn't strike anyone as surprising. Like we said, we discuss our dual mandate to customer and company all the time, and it is with good reason. And at least from my perspective, it certainly feels like Alex is circling. Maybe he's landed upon a description that more accurately paints the picture of how we think of customer success today. We're often thinking as much about our internal impact and our influence internally as we do all of those external factors. And this is what I was hinting at just a little bit earlier when I mentioned what it is that CS has become. Again, both an internal and an external partner. But should this evolution come as any surprise? I mean, I don't think it's any question that customer success is most often responsible for these things, retention and expansion. But it is similarly obvious that those are simultaneously impossible things for us to do in a vacuum, impossible for us to achieve without colleagues and partners in these other departments. Now, it's early in the podcast, but I feel like I got to crush a few dreams. I am sorry to break it to you, lifers, but truly the number one reason a customer sticks around is because of your product. Now, that comes with a big fat however, because I have seen fantastic products that sell like gangbusters, but then their development goes neglected. The roadmap withers on the vine, and that company and that product loses ground, and it loses market share very quickly. We know that product must evolve, and it must constantly and thoughtfully iterate. And that is in no small part influenced by the end user, who most often brokers the flow of that information from the end user. That's right, baby. It's customer success. Similarly, we rely very heavily on our marketing group for competitive information that fuels the discovery conversations we have with our existing customers. On things like potential expansion products, we rely on them a lot for the collateral that helps us drive that case home if we think we can sell them something more. And we rely on marketing just overall for the air cover we need to maintain our reputation and our visibility as a company so we can go out there and represent. However, again, marketing only gets better when they have access to diverse customer perspectives, use cases, data, and that most often occurs through customer advocacy groups and things like that. So if we build upon the initial impetus for customer success to mitigate churn and thereby unearth further revenue opportunities and maximizing customer lifetime value, then this additional facet of the dual mandate of empowering our internal colleagues and therefore our company with the information gleaned from our relationships with our customers, well, then you have what CS embodies today. That is today's customer success. It is the holistic supervision of the customer journey and the customer life cycle that we have the responsibility for. And it's important to note, even so, that this, what we just described, is in and of itself a moving target. Listen to Alex one more time as he explains how he views this, with various departments owning a piece of his customer's journey.
there are other functions that are doing things that maybe are better suited to a CS org, like your surveys and various engagements and email campaigns and things like that to existing customers. And in kind of discovering what those needs are from various departments, you realize how the CS org can help to track those things from an overall customer journey perspective. And I'm not saying like we should take over all this stuff from other departments. I think, marketing does their thing in one way and product does their thing in another way, but I think it does fall on the CS org to track the customer journey and the customer experience overall and how all those other things fit into it.
Hey, this all seemed pretty straightforward until that last bit, didn't it? Up to this point, we know customer success is trying to deliver on expected outcomes, prove value, and then sell more shit. But I don't think that Alex is alone in having parts of what many would consider to be his job, the job of customer success, living within other disciplinary groups within a company. And maybe, just maybe, that's why within the community, we still debate what it is that we do as customer success and what it is that we own. We debate what customer success is capable of doing. Is it support, sales, implementations? Can we help find product market fit? We debate the metrics that we're supposed to be measured by. We debate where it is we end and others begin. We even debate our goddamn titles. Now, that's normal for a department, even for an entire company that is as young and immature as we are. And yet there is a dark side to all of this. And here's Rachel to explain more.
I've been saying for quite a while that customer success as it exists today is the most gaslighting profession there is. It's giving people unrealistic expectations and then telling them they failed. And it drives me freaking crazy. And I've been put in that situation multiple times and had it affect me mentally to the point where I lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks. I wasn't sleeping. I couldn't eat. Like, I felt sick. I was a wreck. I said to my husband, like, I think I have to quit without another job lined up. I have not done that since I was 25 and a lawyer threw a stapler at my head. It's just not something I do. Yeah, see? So it has to be pretty extreme for me to quit with no backup. Since I became a coach, I have had so many people come to me just to get themselves built back up. They couldn't even begin to work on the strategy until they got some confidence again. Because, they were treated like they were absolute idiots. And CS is also the only profession where you have to justify your job every single day to even begin to start doing it.
Oh, that is some heavy shit. Now, I should note that every conversation we had for this season of LTV was one-to-one, meaning none of the guests have any inkling of what the others might have said. And isn't it ironic then that without prompting, what Rachel just pointed out also came up in a number of other conversations that I had with folks? Here's Alex again.
That's right. I mean, the thing is, like, CS is still at the point, I think, where in a lot of businesses, we are constantly justifying our existence. It's still like that. But I think that is definitely shifting, especially with the macroeconomic environment in which we find ourselves in. It's shifting a little bit because the cost of acquisition is just massive, and keeping a customer happy and engaged and on board is not nearly as expensive, even with fully stacked CS team. I think that's shifting, but we're still in this place where we're just having to justify costs over and over again.
Customer success is really freaking cool, man. Whatever you want to call it, whether it's a department, it's a role, it's a mindset, a framework, or a philosophy, it is seemingly at the center of the whirlwind of our company's day-to-day, where we take information in from our customers, we're sharing it with our colleagues in product and marketing, sales, and so on. Simultaneously, we're taking new ideas or requests for feedback on things like potential new products or features, press opportunities, maybe entirely new sales offerings, all while we're also trying to leverage data to monitor our customers' usage, their adoption rates, their satisfaction or loyalty levels, maybe their level of effort. And then we're systematizing the forecasted probability that we expect those folks to continue to be our customers in 12, 24, 36 months. And we're trying to stay plugged into the industry of both our customers and our company. We're understanding and teasing apart the strategic initiatives of our customers and company just in an effort to find those white space opportunities. And then a lot of times we're navigating those commercial motions as they come up. We're negotiating the terms. We're drafting the SOWs. A lot of times we're the ones personally winning approval from GMs, MDs, C-suite folks, both at the company as well as at our customer. All we're asking accounting to do is balance the ledger, maybe chase a few late invoices. Engineering is just supposed to write the code. Now, before you all at me, of course I'm being reductive, but it's no wonder that we are where we are in customer success. Our heads are on a swivel. We're running 1,000,000 miles an hour. We're debating what we should be called and how we should capacity plan. For my money, we are the epitome of jacks of all trades. And by the way, everything I just described, one company might do all of it. Another company might only do 10%. And they might be equally successful or terrible at it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's a beautiful thing. There is so much dynamism in this industry, in this profession. It's beautiful, but it's also horrifying. In this second season of Lifetime Value, we are here to help you peel this onion back. I can't tell you that we have the ability to make this job's day-to-day any easier, especially given the laundry list of responsibilities I just rattled off. What I hope we can do is help you and your org get crystal clear on what it is the mandate of customer success is within your four walls, what you're being asked to do, what it is you're being measured on. You're going to hear from industry vets, experts in the field, consultants, maybe even a few household customer success names, all within a single episode and all with differing titles and therefore differing perspectives, experiences, values, and so on. Buckle up, folks. I think it's going to be a hell of a ride, and I can't wait to take you on it. This concludes the first episode of the second season of Lifetime Value. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to show you what we have up next.
You've been listening to Lifetime Value, the destination for customer success professionals. If you like what you've heard, please rate our show and subscribe wherever you find your content. Please note that the views expressed in these conversations are attributed only to those individuals on this recording and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of their respective employers. For all inquiries, please reach out via email to Dillon at lifetimevaluemedia.com. Find us on YouTube at Lifetime Value and find us on the socials at Lifetime Value Podcast. Until next time.
I said this recently. I was going to humble brag it just to make you laugh, but you'd use it, and then I look like a total douchebag.
Oh, you're on the Pavilion Top 50 CCOs to watch?
I find all the
good for you, dude.
I find all the lists hysterical because there's so many people, and I named a few of them on there, but there's many more that aren't out there talking about all of this stuff. Right, they're just doing the job,
doing good work.
Busy.
Yeah. Yep.
To be honest with you, right now, like, thank God for scheduled LinkedIn buffer because I'm really freaking busy as an interim leader right now, and I can't imagine the people that are actually doing this job on a full-time basis, building their brand up. And I will tell you, like, in the hush corners of those people that are doing the work, they're like, where do these people find the fucking time to write all this stuff?